Tonight, we drift into the shadows of our cosmic neighborhood, a place both wondrous and perilous. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself floating beyond the comfort of Earth. From here, the planets shimmer like jewels scattered across a velvet sea. The sun burns at the center, steady and golden, as though it has always been a gentle guardian. Space looks so quiet, so peaceful, like an ocean asleep under starlight. But hidden within this calmness are truths that stir with restless power storms that could swallow worlds. Fields of stone that could crush and shatter, and realms where no living creature could ever endure. Do not be afraid. Tonight's journey is not one of fear, but of wonder. We are not racing into danger, but drifting softly toward it, watching from a distance, as if we are guests peeking into the secrets of creation. This is not a horror story. It is a lullaby of cosmic peril, sung gently under the canopy of stars. The solar system, our home among the heavens, is far more than a collection of planets and moons. It is a theater of opposites, light and shadow, calm and chaos, safety and destruction. Here, every planet carries its own hidden dangers, and every world whispers a warning. Some dangers are loud and violent, the blast of a solar flare, the roar of a storm larger than Earth itself. Others are silent and patient, invisible radiation, the endless pull of gravity, the quiet emptiness of the vacuum that steals both air and warmth. As you drift deeper into this dream, imagine the sun itself. By day it gives us light and warmth, nurturing the fragile blue world we call home. Yet that same star can erupt in sudden fury, hurling storms of fire across millions of miles, storms that could silence our satellites and strip away atmospheres. A reminder that even the giver of life carries a dangerous side. Beyond the sun, each planet tells a story of survival and risk. Mercury, a scorched world where days are hotter than an oven, nights colder than ice. Venus, wrapped in clouds of gold, but beneath them a crushing furnace where no spacecraft survives for long. The asteroid belt, a graveyard of broken worlds filled with silent fragments, drifting yet deadly. And farther still, Jupiter, the great giant whose invisible radiation could fry a spacecraft before it even touched the clouds. And yet, it is beautiful. Each danger is a part of the balance, each peril a reminder that creation itself is born through both chaos and calm. Without danger, there would be no stars, no planets, no Earth, and no us. So tonight, we drift not to escape danger, but to embrace its meaning. To float through it as dreamers, knowing we are safe in our imaginations. We will not scream into the storms, but listen to them as lullabies, as though the universe itself is humming a song of both warning and wonder. Take a deep, slow breath, let it rise and fall. Picture yourself floating in the gentle dark, wrapped in stillness. Around you, planets drift in silence. Moons glimmer like lanterns, comets sweep their icy tails, and somewhere, hidden in the shadows, lies the most dangerous place in the solar system, a place we will seek together, softly, slowly, like wanderers moving deeper into a dream. And as we begin this journey, remember, danger is not only something to fear, it is something to understand. Something that shapes and teaches, something that reminds us how fragile and precious life truly is. So rest, and let your imagination drift. For tonight, the solar system opens before you, a story of beauty, peril, and eternal wonder. Tonight, as we drift beyond the comforting glow of Earth, we find ourselves entering a realm that seems so serene, so endlessly calm that it feels almost like the very definition of peace. From afar, space appears to be a perfect stillness, a quiet canvas scattered with soft lights, a silence so deep it feels like the essence of eternity itself. Yet, hidden beneath this gentle veil is a truth that is both haunting and profound. The quiet can be deadly. Even silence can kill, but in its stillness, it teaches us eternity. Imagine yourself leaving Earth behind. You drift slowly past the edge of the atmosphere, past the wisps of blue that cradle our fragile home, and into the infinite. The first sensation is not fear, it is wonder. For here there is no wind, no sound, no waves, no shifting of air. The silence is complete. The stars shine sharper now, not twinkling as they do on Earth, but fixed, steady, eternal. Planets glow like lanterns in the distance, their movements so slow you can hardly perceive them. At first glance, this seems like peace itself, still oceans stretched endlessly, unbroken by storm. but peace can be deceiving. The quiet that embraces you now is not the safety of a calm night on Earth. It is the stillness of absence, of nothingness. A silence so pure it is lethal. For in this silence, there is no breath, no warmth, no shelter. Yet in that very absence lies a strange kind of beauty, a beauty that teaches us to value what we often forget. The miracle of air, the treasure of warmth, the fragile cradle of balance that makes life possible. On Earth, we rarely think about air. It is always there, filling our lungs, carrying sound, lifting clouds, feeding fire. But here, beyond the veil of atmosphere, air vanishes. Space is a vacuum, a place of nothingness. To drift unprotected into it is to step into danger disguised as silence. If you were to open a spacecraft's door and float outside without a suit, the first instinct might be to hold your breath. But this would betray you. In the vacuum, the pressure inside your lungs would tear against the emptiness beyond. The delicate tissues would rupture, not with sound or warning, but with silence. Within seconds, oxygen would vanish from blood. Consciousness would fade, not with drama, but with gentle darkness. The body itself, deprived of pressure, would swell softly, fluids shifting, boiling away into the void. The vacuum does not rage, does not roar. It kills not by presence, but by absence, a predator made of nothing. And yet this emptiness carries wisdom. It whispers. What you take for granted, the air, the breath, the invisible gift of atmosphere, is rare beyond measure. Across the universe, emptiness reigns. Our little pocket of air, wrapped around Earth like a fragile skin, is a miracle so easily overlooked. Close your eyes and listen to the silence. Here, there are no waves, no voices, no rustling leaves. On Earth, silence is never perfect. Wind stirs, insects hum, oceans breathe, but in space, silence is complete. For sound needs air, needs molecules to carry vibrations. And here, there is nothing to carry the song. Even if you screamed into the void, no echo would answer. This silence is not only the absence of sound, but the absence of connection. Voices cannot travel, footsteps cannot be heard, music cannot drift. It is the silence of separation, a reminder that in the great ocean of stars, communication itself is fragile. But in this silence, there is also a gift, the chance to listen inward. With no sound to distract, the mind turns to its own rhythms, the pulse of the heart, the rise and fall of breath, the quiet whisper of thought. Silence becomes a mirror, showing us what is within. Here, in the quiet veil, warmth is not steady. On Earth, our atmosphere holds heat, spreading it gently between day and night. But in space, there is no such balance. Where sunlight falls, it does so without mercy. Unfiltered, unsoftened, the rays scorch surfaces until they boil. Shadows just inches away collapse into freezing cold, colder than the darkest polar night. Without air to carry heat, there is no in-between. A single surface may burn with fire and freeze with ice, side by side, in silence. This is the dance of extremes, the truth of a world without balance. Fire and ice locked together forever. And yet this, too, teaches us something. That balance is not an accident. The warmth of our days, the coolness of our nights, the moderation that makes rivers flow and forests bloom, all of this is rare, fragile, precious. Without it, there is no comfort, no life. It's the absence of warmth reminds us. Cherish balance, for it is not the rule of the universe, but its exception. Though it looks still, space is not empty. Invisible forces move constantly, carrying dangers unseen. Radiation drifts here like an unseen tide, born from stars, from galaxies, from ancient explosions scattered across eternity. High-energy particles, cosmic rays, streams of photons, they move silently, endlessly, without light or sound. On Earth, our magnetic field and atmosphere shield us, catching and softening the storm. But out here, unprotected, the tide presses in. This storm has no color, no form, cannot feel it on your skin, cannot hear it in your ears. But it works in silence, striking the code of life itself, unraveling DNA, breaking bonds, shifting cells. It is danger made invisible. And yet what beauty comes from this? For when cosmic rays strike Earth's atmosphere, They paint the sky with aurora's shimmering curtains of green and red, glowing waves of light across the poles. Even danger, when filtered, becomes beauty. Even peril can be art. Not all dangers are physical. The silence of space carries a weight of its own. Astronauts who have touched the edge of this stillness speak of its intensity. To float in silence, to see Earth as a small glowing sphere beneath your feet, is both inspiring and disquieting.
Ow.
The mind struggles with the scale, with the vastness, with the knowledge that you are suspended in eternity, with nothing beneath you but void. This silence can be a teacher, but it can also be a mirror of fear. Without sound, without grounding, the human mind drifts. Time becomes strange. Days and nights lose meaning. Silence becomes not just external, but internal. And yet, many describe this as the most beautiful silence they have ever known. A silence that speaks not with words, but with wonder. A silence that carries eternity. Here, we return to our thought. Even silence can kill, but in its stillness, it teaches us eternity. Stars burn for billions of years without voices. Galaxies drift in silence, their spirals unwinding across time without sound. The universe itself sings not with notes, but with silence. This quiet veil is more than danger. It is a glimpse into eternity itself. To drift here is to feel both small and infinite, fragile and eternal. And so, the danger of silence is also its wisdom. It reminds us of fragility, and in fragility of meaning. Shows us that life is a rare note played against the endless quiet. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it rise gently, then fall. Inhale once more, slowly, fully, and let the breath slip away. Now imagine that silence itself is entering you not as danger, but as calm. Not as absence, but as peace. You are floating. You are safe. You are wrapped in eternity. And as we gaze outward, we look back. Earth, small and delicate, wrapped in its thin blue veil of atmosphere. From here, we see how fragile it is. A single layer of air, thinner than the skin of an apple, holding the breath of forests, the warmth of oceans, the songs of all living things. Beyond that layer, silence waits. Beyond that thin shell, danger lies in stillness. And yet, that very contrast makes Earth more beautiful. For it is not ordinary. It is a sanctuary, a miracle suspended in eternity. And so we drift out of the first chapter of our journey. The quiet veil of space has shown us that danger does not always roar. Sometimes it waits in silence. The vacuum that tears without sound, the extremes of heat and cold, the invisible storms of radiation, the weight of psychological stillness. Yet in this, there is beauty. For silence teaches, silence reminds. Silence reveals eternity. And as we rest in this thought, we carry with us a deeper gratitude for breath, for warmth, for balance, for life itself. For even silence can kill, but in its stillness, it teaches us eternity. The sun is a star that both cradles us and could scorch us in its tantrums. Tonight, as we drift deeper into our cosmic dream, let us turn our gaze to the great heart of our solar system. The sun. A golden fire suspended in eternity, the ancient flame around which every planet, every moon, every fragment of stone or ice quietly revolves. From Earth, the sun is our comfort. It warms our days, paints our skies with color, pulls life from the soil, and drives the winds and tides. It is in so many ways the guardian of our world. Without it, Earth would be nothing more than a frozen stone adrift in shadow. And yet the same star that cradles us also hides a more dangerous side. For the sun is not gentle.
Ow.
It is not calm. It is a seething ocean of fire, raging with storms beyond imagining, storms that could silence satellites, scorch atmospheres, and blind the skies of Earth with light too fierce to bear. This is the paradox of our star, giver of life, bringer of peril, a cradle and a furnace, a steady flame and a raging storm. So tonight, we will drift closer, softly, as though floating into the warm breath of a sleeping giant. We will watch as the sun breathes, as it flares, as it lashes out in tantrums of fire. And we will see how this wrath, though deadly, also births beauty auroras dancing across the skies, lights that soothe even as they remind us of danger. The sun is alive in ways we can scarcely imagine. Beneath its glowing surface, immense forces stir gravity, pulling inward, fusion bursting outward, the eternal balance that keeps a star burning. Every second, the sun transforms more than 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium. In that transformation, light is born. Energy floods outward, rippling across space, carrying heat and warmth to planets billions of kilometers away. But this process is not steady. The surface of the sun, the photosphere, roils like a restless sea. Great loops of fire arc outward, drawn by tangled magnetic fields. Dark sunspots appear like bruises where energy knots and twists, storing power for sudden release. The sun does not sit in silence. It hums, it churns, it breathes in fire. Its surface is a storm without end. From time to time, the sun raises its voice. Energy builds in its tangled magnetic fields until suddenly it snaps. A solar flare erupts, a burst of light and radiation so powerful it can outshine the sun's entire surface for moments at a time. These flares release energy equal to millions of hydrogen bombs all at once, all in silence across the void. X-rays, ultraviolet rays, high-energy particles, they flood outward, racing at the speed of light. To us, a solar flare might seem distant, harmless, but its touch is felt, can disrupt radio waves, confuse navigation, blind telescopes. It can reach Earth in mere minutes, striking our atmosphere with a sudden, invisible storm. And yet a flare is brief. Like a spark of temper, it blazes, then fades. The true tantrums of the sun come in another form. Sometimes the sun does more than flare. It erupts. Great clouds of plasma, trillions of tons of charged particles, are hurled into space at millions of kilometers per hour. These are coronal mass ejections, CMEs, the sun's tantrums, vast and violent. When such a cloud sweeps past Earth, it can rattle the magnetic field that shields us. Currents surge through the atmosphere, through satellites, through the very ground beneath our feet. Power grids may fail, communications collapse, skies glow with auroras pushed far from the poles. One such storm, in 1859, the Carrington event lit the skies with auroras, so bright they were seen in the Caribbean. Telegraph wires sparked with fire. If such an event happened today with our satellites, our grids, our dependence on technology, it would be catastrophic. And yet to watch from afar, Acme is a sight of terrible beauty, a star flinging pieces of itself into space. Arcs of fire that stretch across millions of kilometers, glowing in colors no eye has ever truly seen. Even when calm, the sun exhales. From its corona, the glowing outer atmosphere, streams of charged particles pour into space, flowing constantly outward. This is the solar wind. It races past planets, sweeps across moons, fills the solar system with an invisible tide. It shapes the tails of comets, bends them away from the sun, carves cavities in magnetic fields. It is the sun's endless whisper, felt everywhere, always. On Earth, the solar wind is caught by our magnetic shield, drawn down into the poles. And there, its energy is transformed into light shimmering curtains of green and red, the auroras. The northern and southern lights are the most beautiful warnings in nature. For what you see as beauty is, in truth, a shield catching fire, a reminder that the sun's gentle glow hides a restless storm. Imagine standing beneath the northern sky, the air crisp and still, the stars scattered like diamonds. Then, suddenly, the heavens stir. Curtains of green ripple across the black, ribbons of red and violet curl and shimmer, as though the sky itself were alive. This is the aurora beauty born from peril. For each ribbon of light is made of particles hurled from the sun, caught and tamed by Earth's shield. It is fire transformed into art, danger translated into wonder. But the aurora is also a warning, for every gentle display hides the power of storms that could overwhelm us. The sun that paints the sky is the same star that could scorch the earth with a tantrum. The sun is a star that both cradles us and could scorch us in its tantrums. Here we pause to reflect. The sun is not only danger, it is not only life. It is both. This duality is the essence of existence. Creation and destruction are not opposites, but companions. The same fire that warms can burn. The same light that nurtures can blind. The sun teaches us that beauty and danger are intertwined, that life itself exists only because of this balance, because we orbit at just the right distance, within a fragile zone where warmth is enough to sustain, but not enough to destroy. It is a reminder of fragility, of luck, of the delicate threads that bind us to survival. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it fill you as though you are inhaling sunlight itself. Now exhale gently, releasing the tension, the heat, the fire. Inhale again, slow, calm, steady, and imagine that warmth flowing into you, not as danger, but as comfort. You are safe. You are held in the cradle of the sun's glow. We look back through time, the Carrington event of 1859, auroras blazing across the world, telegraphs sparking with fire. The storms of 1989, which silenced Quebec's power grid. Countless smaller storms, rippling silently across decades. These are reminders. The sun is not tame, it is not constant. It is a living star, and like all living things, it has moods. And one day, perhaps, it may unleash a storm unlike any before, a storm that could test our resilience, our technology, our very dependence on light. Yet even in that danger, there is beauty, for to witness the sun's power is to witness the heart of creation itself. And so we drift back from the sun, not too close, for its breath would scorch us, not too far, for its warmth is our life. We remain in the fragile balance, orbiting steadily, caught between cradle and furnace. The sun is not our enemy, nor our gentle friend. It is both. It is the eternal fire that gives and the eternal storm that warns. And as we rest tonight, we remember, the sun's wrath is also its gift. Its tantrums remind us of its power. Its flares remind us of our fragility. Its auroras remind us of beauty born from danger. The sun is a star that both cradles us and could scorch us in its tantrums. Thus, we leave the heart of the solar system. The sun burns on, as it has for billions of years, steady yet restless, nurturing yet perilous. It breathes in fire, it shouts in flares, it tantrums in storms, it whispers in wind. It paints our skies with beauty, even as it warns us of power. And in all of this, it teaches us balance, that life exists only between danger and safety, that beauty is born from fire, that even wrath can be a lullaby. So take another breath, slow and deep. Let the sun's glow warm you gently, safely. And as you drift into rest, remember, you are alive because of a star that loves and rages all at once. Tonight, as we drift deeper into the cosmic dreamscape, our path bends inward toward the very heart of the solar system, where the planets crowd closest to the sun. Here lies a world both intimate and hostile. The smallest of the planets, yet one of the most unforgiving. Mercury. To the eye, Mercury looks simple, a gray cratered sphere, pockmarked like the moon, stripped bare of color, wrapped in silence. But beneath that apparent simplicity lies one of the most extreme worlds ever shaped by the sun's light. A world where heat and cold are locked in a constant duel, where stone itself expands and contracts until it cracks apart, and where the absence of air leaves everything raw, exposed, and defenseless. Mercury is the solar system's paradox, the planet closest to the sun, yet also a place where shadows fall into the deepest cold. It is a realm of extremes, a planet of contrasts, and as we drift here softly, as dreamers, we learn that even silence can burn. Mercury orbits closer to the sun than any other planet, tracing its tight path in just 88 Earth days. From here, the sun dominates everything enormous in the sky. More than 3 times larger than it appears from Earth, a blazing furnace that never relents. But Mercury spins slowly, turning once on its axis only every 59 Earth days. The result is a world of extremes. Its days and nights are stretched, elongated, cruelly drawn out. When the sun rises over Mercury's horizon, it does not set quickly. It hangs, beating down for weeks upon weeks, roasting the surface until stone itself glows with heat. And when it finally slips away, the night is not a brief relief, but a long exile into cold. Plunging the surface into temperatures colder than the frozen reaches of Pluto, in this rhythm, this long cycle of fire and frost, Mercury reveals itself as a world shaped not by harmony, but by extremes. Imagine standing here, in Mercury's daylight. The ground beneath your feet would shimmer, not with water, but with heat itself. The rocks are cracked, broken open by the relentless expansion of minerals under the sun's gaze. With no atmosphere to scatter the light, the sky is not blue, not softened, but black and endless void even at noon. And yet the sun blazes above, blinding, fierce, nearly unbearable. Temperatures soar to 430 degrees Celsius, 800 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt lead, hot enough that any metal left on the surface would glow faintly with its own heat. The soil itself, dusty and barren, becomes like an oven floor, radiating the sun's punishment back upward. Still silence. No wind carries the heat. No sound breaks the stillness. On Mercury, fire does not roar. It bakes in silence. But step into shadow, and the story changes completely. Here on Mercury, the absence of sunlight is absolute. Without an atmosphere to trap warmth, night does not fade gently. It collapses. In the long Mercurian night, temperatures plunge to minus 180 degrees Celsius, minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Colder than the frozen moons of the outer solar system, than craters that never see the sun, deep in polar shadows that remain eternal. Ice lingers, ancient and untouched. Even here, on this scorched and barren world, water has found refuge. Locked in the darkness like secrets hidden from the sun, it is a strange truth. The closest planet to the sun, and yet in its shadows, Mercury hides ice. What makes Mercury so dangerous is not just its heat or its cold, but its emptiness. Unlike Earth, Mercury has no thick atmosphere, no blanket of gases to soften the sun's light, no shield to hold warmth through the night. Its air, if it can be called that, is only the faintest exosphere, a scattering of atoms, too thin to breathe, too thin to matter. On Earth, air carries sound, weather, and life. On Mercury, there is none. No breeze stirs the dust. No clouds drift to soften the light. No air carries the warmth from day into night. Here, light itself is sharp, shadows fall hard, and silence is absolute. If you were standing here, you would never hear the sun's fury, never hear the cracking of stone, never even hear your own footsteps. Mercury is not only a world of extremes, it is a world without voice. Yet even in silence, the planet moves. The rocks of Mercury, battered by sunlight, and then abandoned to cold, expand and contract in endless cycles. Over billions of years, the planet has fractured and buckled, surface pulled and stretched until great cliff scarps rose across its face, hundreds of kilometers long and towering kilometers high. These scarps tell a story. Mercury itself has shrunk. As its iron core cooled, the entire planet contracted, its skin folding in great wrinkles. A planet that was once larger, pulling inward upon itself, leaving scars that will never fade. So when we drift across its surface, we see not only craters and silence, but wounds, the wrinkles of a world that has aged under the sun's unforgiving watch. Mercury's danger is not only on its surface, its orbit brings it close to the sun, into a realm where radiation is fierce, where solar winds stream endlessly outward. Any spacecraft that dares to approach must shield itself, enduring the same extremes of heat and cold that shaped the planet below. For humans, Mercury would be impossible. To stand here without protection would mean instant death cooked in the day, frozen in the night, stripped bare by radiation, suffocated by emptiness. It is a reminder that not all worlds are meant to be walked. Some are meant only to be witnessed, softly from afar, and yet there is beauty. For in Mercury's silence there is truth. In its stillness, there is a lesson. Here is a planet that teaches us the fragility of balance, that even silence can kill, even emptiness can be peril. And yet, in that same silence, we find eternity. For Mercury does not rage with storms like Jupiter, nor swell with clouds like Venus. It does not change quickly, does not hide its face. It endures. Quiet, scarred, but enduring. Perhaps that is why Mercury has always fascinated us, not just as the messenger god of myth, but as a symbol of endurance, of extremes born in silence. As we drift away from Mercury, let us take with us its lesson, that silence is not always gentle, light is not always kind, that shadow is not always safe, and yet within those truths there is beauty. Mercury is a world that burns without flame, freezes without snow, and endures without air. A world both fragile and eternal. A world that whispers in silence. Even in extremes, there is balance. Even in danger, there is wonder. So let your mind rest with that thought as we drift outward, away from the scorched world. Deeper into the dream of the solar system. A world wrapped in golden clouds, hiding a furnace beneath. Tonight, our dream carries us to a world that glows softly in Earth's skies. Venus, the evening star, the morning star, the twin of Earth. From afar, it looks like a jewel. Draped in golden light, it shines with steady brilliance, never twinkling, never wavering. For millennia, poets and wanderers have looked up and whispered its name with wonder. To the naked eye, Venus seems serene, a beacon of beauty, luminous against the dark. But beauty can be deceiving. And within those golden clouds lies one of the deadliest places in the solar system, a realm where no human could stand, no machine could endure for long, no dream could survive unscarred. Venus is Earth's sister in size, but its heart beats with fire, its sky is poison, its rains are acid, its winds are crushing, its surface a furnace hot enough to melt lead. This is Venus, a world where beauty is a veil and beneath it waits a slow, suffocating hell. If you were to drift toward Venus, your first impression would be its softness. From space, its face is entirely hidden by thick clouds, smooth, unbroken, luminous. Unlike Earth, with its blue oceans and swirling white patterns, Venus shows no scars, no shifting weather fronts, no hints of land or sea. Only golden clouds glowing in reflected sunlight. The beauty is entrancing, but it is a mask. Those clouds are not water vapor, as ours are, but sulfuric acid. They're heavy with poison, dense and choking. They reflect sunlight, but they also trap heat below, building a greenhouse of unimaginable power. Here lies the irony of Venus. From afar, it glows like a gentle lantern. But within its light is concealment, not comfort. Imagine now that you drift closer, gently through the veil. As you descend, the beauty changes. The clouds thicken, darken. The light dims, filtered through layers of acid haze. The air grows dense, heavy, pressing against you. The pressure increases with every kilometer downward, like sinking beneath an ocean of gas. On Earth, the weight of the atmosphere is light enough to carry, invisible, unnoticed. On Venus, it builds relentlessly. By the time you reach the surface, the air presses upon you with 90 times the pressure of Earth's atmosphere, as if you were a kilometer beneath the sea. Even if you could somehow withstand the poison and the heat, the weight of the air itself would crush you. And then finally, you touch the surface. What greets you here is not the calm ground of Earth, nor the silence of Mercury, but a furnace. The temperature holds steady at nearly 465 degrees Celsius, 870 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than Mercury. Even though Venus lies farther from the sun, hot enough to melt lead, to soften steel, to warp the strongest machines we build. Unlike Mercury, where the heat comes and goes with the turning of its long day, Venus is relentless. Night or day, the furnace does not change. The thick atmosphere wraps the planet like a blanket that never cools, a trap from which heat cannot escape. To stand here would not simply be to feel warmth, it would be to feel consumed. Look upward, and you would not see stars. You would not see the sun. You would not even see the color blue. The clouds above are dense, endless, suffocating. The light that filters down is strange, muted, and orange, a twilight glow that never lifts. The ground is barren, volcanic, broken into plains of basalt and mountains rising from the haze. No oceans sparkle here, no rivers wind, no grass whispers, only rocks scorched and cracked, stretching into the distance. It is a landscape of silence and fire, lit not by starlight, but by the filtered glow of a poisoned sky. Above, the clouds gather and churn. Sometimes from those clouds rain begins to fall. But it is not water. It is acid droplets of sulfuric acid, corrosive enough to eat through metal, to burn any living thing. The rain begins, but it does not reach the ground. In the furnace of Venus, the droplets evaporate long before they touch the surface, leaving the rocks below untouched, but still imprisoned in heat. It is a haunting vision. Clouds heavy with acid releasing their burden in vain, the rain dissolving into vapor before it can ever cool the burning world beneath. Though the air is heavy, Venus is not still. High above the surface, in the upper atmosphere, the winds howl at hurricane speeds more than 300 kilometers per hour. They circle the planet in just a few Earth days, dragging the clouds with them in a constant storm. Closer to the surface, the winds slow, pressing heavily against the land, but the air is so dense that even a gentle breeze carries force like water. The atmosphere itself becomes a crushing sea, moving slowly but with a weight no human could endure. It is not a storm of noise or chaos. It is a storm of silence, of heaviness, of suffocation. Over the decades, humans have sent probes to Venus, trying to pierce its mystery. Each one has fallen, descended through the golden clouds, and met the crushing hell below. The Soviet Venera landers of the 1970s and 80s were the first to touch the surface. They survived, but only briefly. For minutes at most, they sent back pictures of broken plains, of rocks cracked and scorched. Then one by one, they failed. Crushed, burned, silenced. No human machine has lasted more than 2 hours on the surface of Venus. It is a planet that rejects us, that will not allow us to linger. And yet, what makes Venus most haunting is not only its danger, but its similarity. For Venus is Earth's twin in size, mass, and gravity. Once, long ago, it may have been even more like us, perhaps with oceans, perhaps with a gentler sky. But something changed. The greenhouse grew stronger, the heat trapped, the oceans boiled away, the sky filled with poison. And the world became what it is now, a furnace wrapped in beauty. Venus is not just another planet. It is a warning, a reminder of fragility. A sister who walked a path we did not, who became a mirror of what Earth could be if balance were ever lost. And so, as we drift gently across this vision, let us reflect. Venus teaches us that beauty can conceal danger, that what shines brightest in the sky may be the most deadly to touch. It reminds us that appearances are masks, that beneath light may dwell fire, and beneath beauty may hide peril. But it also reminds us of endurance. For even here, amid poisoned skies and crushing air, the planet endures, spinning softly in its orbit, glowing in our twilight. Perhaps that is Venus's gift to dreamers, to remind us that danger and beauty are not opposites. They are twins, intertwined, inseparable. Just as Venus is both sister and stranger, jewel and furnace, light and suffocation, as we leave Venus behind, let us carry with us its paradox. The evening star will continue to shine, serene against the night, inviting us to look upward, to wonder, to dream. But now we know the truth, that beneath its golden glow lies a realm of fire, of weight, of silence. Venus whispers to us, not all beauty is safe, not all light is kind, but in every danger there is a lesson, and in every veil there is truth waiting to be seen. And so we drift onward, leaving behind the crushing hell of Venus, and carrying forward its story of beauty, danger, and endurance. They are ruins of worlds that never were. Beyond the orbit of Mars, where the warmth of the sun begins to soften and the cold reaches in, lies a realm both mysterious and misunderstood. It is called the Asteroid Belt, a vast region between Mars and Jupiter, where countless stones drift in endless silence. When we imagine it, we often borrow the images given to us by stories. Dense swarms of tumbling rocks, spacecraft weaving between them, collisions echoing in chaotic ballet. Hollywood paints it as a dangerous maze, a field of endless peril. But the truth is gentler, stranger, and far more haunting. The asteroid belt is not a crowded city of stone. It is a desert wide, scattered, and empty. Its rocks are distant from one another, separated by millions of kilometers of space. A ship traveling through could pass without ever seeing one at all. Yet this emptiness hides a deeper story. For the asteroids are fragments of a dream that never came to be. They are pieces of a planet that was never born, ruins of a world that might have existed but didn't. And so, to drift among them is to wander through the broken bones of an unfinished creation. Close your eyes and imagine yourself drifting there. The sun is smaller now, not a blinding presence, but a bright star in the sky. Around you, blackness stretches in all directions. Every so often, in the distance, you see a rock, some no larger than a pebble, others hundreds of kilometers across. They float in silence, turning slowly, warmed only faintly by the sunlight. But you notice something. They are far apart. Even in the densest regions of the asteroid belt, you could travel millions of kilometers and see nothing but darkness. The idea of weaving between walls of stone is an illusion. Instead, you pass through emptiness, knowing that somewhere, scattered like forgotten thoughts, lie these fragments. And yet, though they are far, they are not safe. For each one is moving fast, unimaginably fast. Their paths are orbits, their speeds measured in tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. If ever two of them should meet, the collision would be catastrophic, a silent explosion of energy that could shatter mountains. It is this paradox that defines the belt. Space vast enough for silence, but danger hidden in the swiftness of invisible paths. Where did these asteroids come from? They are the children of the solar system's birth. 4.5 billion years ago, dust and gas swirled in a great cloud, slowly coalescing into planets. Near the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars took shape. Farther out, the giants Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune grew from ice and gas. But in the region between Mars and Jupiter, something interrupted creation. Gravity here was restless, disturbed by Jupiter's immense pull. The rocks that gathered could never fully join into a single planet. They were pulled apart, scattered, and left incomplete. And so the asteroid belt became what it is, not a world, but the absence of one. A place where fragments remain, never assembled, never whole. When we look upon the belt, we are looking at a wound in creation, a planet that could have been, but never was. Each asteroid is unique, a world unto itself, however small. Some are dark, carbon-rich, black as coal. Others are metallic, gleaming with iron and nickel, heavy as the core of ancient worlds. Some are rocky, scarred with craters, silent testaments to countless collisions across the ages. Many are oddly shaped, irregular, like broken fragments of pottery. Some are double, locked together in silent embrace, orbiting one another as they drift around the sun. If you were to land on one, you would find not a world in the sense of Earth or Mars, but a fragment. The ground beneath you might be dust, soft as ash, piled into craters. Or it might be solid metal, a cold and unyielding surface that rings like a bell when struck. Gravity would be weak, so faint that a gentle jump could send you floating into the void. To stand upon an asteroid is to feel fragility, to realize that you are on a remnant of something incomplete, a whisper of a story left untold. Though scattered, the asteroids are bound in their orbits, circling the sun as dancers in a vast, silent waltz. Most lie in the great ring between Mars and Jupiter. But there are others, Trojans, who march alongside Jupiter itself, forever caught in its gravitational sway. Still others drift near Earth, crossing paths with our world, reminders of the belt's hidden danger. For though the belt is quiet, its fragments sometimes wander. When they do, they can become meteors, streaking across Earth's skies. Sometimes they strike the ground with devastating force. As they did 65 million years ago, when one impact ended the reign of the dinosaurs and reshaped the course of life. Is this way, the asteroid belt is not only a graveyard, it's also a seedbed, sending fragments into the inner solar system, carrying with them both danger and possibility. Some asteroids bear water, carbon, and organic molecules, the raw ingredients of life. It is possible that Earth's oceans, and even the spark of life itself, were delivered by such wandering stones. Thus, the belt is both ruin and giver. It is destruction, and it is gift. Let us drift now, slowly among these stones. The silence is complete, deeper than any silence on Earth. Only the faint hum of your own thoughts fills the void. Fragment turns in the distance, its surface cratered and pitted. The sunlight glints from its edges, but the shadows are black, absolute. Another fragment floats beyond, darker still, a chunk of carbon as old as the solar system itself, unchanged for billions of years. You feel a strange reverence here, for these are not merely rocks. They are ruins of time, fossils of creation. They are what is left when worlds fail to form, when gravity falters, when dreams remain unfinished. To drift here is to wander a graveyard, yes, but also a museum. Each stone is an artifact, each orbit a memory, each crater a story of fire and impact and silence. And here lies the haunting beauty of the asteroid belt. It is a reminder of what could have been and what never was. When we look at Earth, we see fullness, oceans, forests, skies alive with life. When we look at Mars, we see deserts and ice, a world that lost what it once had. But when we look at the belt, we see incompleteness. Not a world that was, not a world that died, but a world that was denied existence altogether. The asteroids are monuments to possibility, they whisper. Not all beginnings reach their end. Not all seeds take root. Not all stories are completed. And yet, there is a kind of grace in their survival. Though unfinished, though scattered, they endure. For billions of years, they have circled the sun, patiently, quietly, bearing witness to the passage of time. Perhaps in this way, the belt teaches us that even broken things have value, that even ruins can endure with dignity, that even dreams left unfinished can hold meaning. As you drift away from this field of stone, you carry with you its paradox: emptiness and danger, silence and speed, ruin and beauty. The asteroid belt is not the chaos of films, not a storm of crashing rocks. It is something quieter, lonelier, more profound. It is the space between dreams and reality. It is the silence between notes in the music of creation. It is the memory of a world that never came to be, and the persistence of its fragments across eternity. They are ruins of worlds that never were. And in their ruins we find wonder. A giant with invisible storms, its embrace glowing with unseen fire. Let us leave the scattered ruins of the asteroid belt behind. As we drift outward, something begins to dominate the blackness. It swells before us, immense and impossible to ignore. Jupiter, the first of the gas giants, the colossus of our solar system. It is not just a planet, it is a kingdom. A world so vast that all the others, Earth, Mars, Venus, even Saturn, seem small beside it. You could fit over 1,300 Earths inside Jupiter and still there would be room. Its gravity is a net that has shaped the history of our solar system, pulling comets, guiding asteroids, guarding the inner worlds, and sometimes hurling destruction their way. From afar, Jupiter is beautiful, a canvas of amber, cream, and crimson, swirling endlessly in colossal storms. But as we draw closer, its true nature emerges. This is not just a giant of storms. It is a fortress of radiation. Around Jupiter, invisible and deadly, is one of the most hostile environments in the entire solar system. A magnetic field so immense, so violent, that to approach is to walk into a storm of fire you cannot see. Here, beauty hides terror, and wonder conceals danger. Jupiter's magnetosphere is the largest structure of its kind in our solar system. If we could see it with our eyes, it would stretch out like an enormous invisible shield wider than the sun itself. Imagine standing on Earth and looking at the full moon. Now imagine a magnetic bubble so large that if it were visible in our night sky, it would cover an area many times greater than that. That is Jupiter's invisible embrace. But this embrace is not gentle. Trapped within it are belts of radiation particles, charged and accelerated to near light speeds, whipped around by Jupiter's immense magnetic field. These radiation belts are far stronger than anything near Earth. If you were to drift unprotected into them, the invisible fire would begin tearing through your cells, damaging DNA, overwhelming your nervous system. In less than an hour, you would be undone. How strong is Jupiter's radiation? On Earth, our planet's own radiation belts, the Van Allen belts, are mild. It's barely noticeable thanks to our atmosphere and magnetic field. Astronauts passing through them feel little danger. But Jupiter's belts are different. Here, radiation levels are so high that they would disable a spacecraft's electronics in days if not shielded. Probes sent to Jupiter must carry thick armor, yet still, they slowly degrade. To put it in human terms, the radiation near Jupiter can be 10 times stronger than the core of a nuclear reactor. It is an invisible storm, silent, relentless, without light or sound, only energy, destructive and unstoppable. Why is Jupiter like this? It begins with its size. Jupiter is not just big, it is made of gas, primarily hydrogen and helium. Deep inside, under crushing pressure, this hydrogen becomes metallic, conducting electricity. Combined with Jupiter's rapid rotation, spinning once every 10 hours, faster than any other planet, it generates an immense magnetic field. This magnetic field is 20,000 times stronger than Earth's. It extends millions of kilometers into space, sweeping up particles from the sun's solar wind and from its volcanic moon, Io, restless and fiery. Spews sulfur and gas into space, and Jupiter's magnetic field captures them, whipping them into belts of radiation. Io becomes both victim and accomplice, fueling the very storm that makes its skies glow. So Jupiter's not just a giant planet, it is a generator, a cosmic dynamo, turning invisible storms into one of the most dangerous environments in our solar system. When we think of storms, we imagine clouds, thunder, lightning. Jupiter has these two storms larger than Earth, lightning bolts hundreds of times more powerful than those on our world. But the true storms here are invisible. They're made of particles, protons, electrons, ions, screaming through space at incredible speeds, held captive by magnetic fields. You would not see them. But if you were there, your body would feel them in silence, molecules breaking apart, DNA unraveling, cells collapsing. To stand in Jupiter's magnetosphere is to be in a storm of fire that does not burn, but instead dissolves you from the inside out. And yet from afar, these storms create beauty. They make Jupiter's auroras glowing circles of light at its poles, brighter and more powerful than any aurora on Earth. These auroras never fade, never rest. They are permanent, eternal curtains of light dancing above Jupiter's clouds, a beauty born of danger. For centuries, Jupiter has drawn the eyes of dreamers. The ancient Romans named it for their king of gods. To Galileo, it was the first world beyond Earth revealed in detail with moons, companions, its own miniature solar system. Today, we imagine what it would be like to visit, to stand on a moon, looking up at the striped giant filling half the sky, to drift close to its clouds, watching the great red spots spin, a storm that has raged for centuries. But in truth, no human could approach. It's not because of its size, not because of its storms, but because of its invisible fortress of radiation. It is as if Jupiter is saying, "Come close, and I will dazzle you with beauty. Come closer still, and you will pay a price." Let us pause here. Close your eyes. Imagine the sound of your own breath, slow, gentle. We have drifted through silence before among asteroids, among fragments of broken worlds. But here, silence is different. It is heavier, charged, electric, dangerous. Take a breath. Imagine yourself far away from Earth, where even your heartbeat feels too loud. Imagine yourself floating at the edge of Jupiter's magnetosphere, watching its glow, knowing what waits within. This is the pause before descent, the stillness before we drift deeper. Though Jupiter's radiation belts are deadly, they are not empty. Orbiting within and around them are worlds, Jupiter's moons, each unique, each a story. Ill, volcanic, and restless, forever reshaped by Jupiter's gravity. Europa, smooth and icy, hiding in ocean beneath its shell, perhaps home to life. Ganymede, larger than Mercury, with its own magnetic field. Callisto, ancient and scarred, a silent witness to billions of years. Each of these moons exists in the shadow of Jupiter's radiation fortress. Europa, for instance, is bathed in radiation so strong that standing on its surface without protection would mean death within a single day. And yet, beneath Europa's ice, in its hidden ocean, life may endure. Protected by kilometers of ice, shielded from radiation, warmed by the heat of tides, it may swim in darkness, untouched by the storm above. In this way, Jupiter's fortress is both destroyer and protector, sterilizing surfaces, but perhaps guarding the depths where life might dream. What does Jupiter teach us? It shows us that not all dangers are seen, not all storms roar. Some are silent, some are invisible, some are made not of wind and water, but of particles and fields. Jupiter reminds us that beauty can be deadly. Its glowing auroras are signs of radiation that would kill us. Its size, its power, its grandeur, all of it is both a gift and danger. Perhaps in this, Jupiter is like many things in life. It's the strongest presences can also be the most dangerous. The most dazzling beauty may hide the greatest risk. And what embraces us may also consume us. Jupiter is a giant with invisible storms. Its embrace glows with unseen fire. And to drift too close is to be undone by what you cannot see. As we drift away from Jupiter, we carry with us a strange mix of awe and unease. Few places in the solar system are as deadly as this one. Few are as beautiful. We leave behind its bands of amber and cream, its eternal storms, its glowing auroras. We leave behind the fortress of radiation, invisible but inescapable, and yet Jupiter remains, watching, holding its moons in orbit, guarding its secrets,
Wow.
ruling its realm with a power that is both magnificent and merciless. The further we move, the smaller it becomes, until, once again, it is just a bright star in the sky, seen from afar. But we know now that behind its beauty lies a truth. Jupiter is not only the king of planets, it is a fortress, a storm, a reminder that the cosmos is not made only of wonder, but also of fire unseen. Clouds swirling in eternal dance, yet never at rest. We have lingered at Jupiter's edge, where its invisible fortress of radiation glows with unseen fire. Now, let us drift closer to its clouds. For though its magnetosphere is deadly, what first catches our eyes and has for centuries are the storms. And beyond Jupiter, Saturn too, another giant wrapped in its golden rings, also sings with storms. Between these two titans, the dance of atmosphere never ends. They are not calm worlds, they are restless. Their skies are seas, their winds are rivers, their storms are histories. And tonight, we let ourselves drift into them. Not as travelers of danger, but as dreamers listening to the lullabies of eternal storms.
Imagine.
A storm so vast that if you were to place our world inside it, it would vanish into its spinning clouds. That storm exists. It is the great red spot of Jupiter. From Earth, through even small telescopes, we can glimpse it. A reddish oval etched into Jupiter's southern hemisphere. It has raged for at least 400 years, perhaps longer, perhaps thousands of years. When Galileo first turned his telescope to Jupiter in the 1600s, the storm was already there. And it has remained long after empires have risen and fallen, long after generations have come and gone. On Earth, storms are fleeting. Hurricanes form and vanish within weeks. Even our greatest tempests cannot match the patience of Jupiter. But here on this giant storm are part of its identity. They do not fade quickly. They endure. The Great Red Spot is a high-pressure system, a cyclone, but reversed from Earth's. Instead of spiraling inward, it spins outward, a massive anticyclone. Its winds roar at 400 miles per hour. Its top stretches high into Jupiter's atmosphere. And though we call it red, its color shifts, sometimes crimson, sometimes pale orange, sometimes fading as if the storm is whispering away. Scientists still do not know why it glows with this strange hue. Perhaps chemicals rising from deep within. Perhaps sunlight reacting with its gases. To us, it is a mystery painted on a cosmic canvas. To Jupiter, it is simply weather. Close your eyes. Picture yourself floating above Jupiter's clouds. Below, the Great Red Spot turns slowly, a storm so large it dwarfs your imagination. Its clouds curl like cream stirred into coffee. Its edges swirl in looping arcs. Its center turns with patient rage. It has been here longer than your ancestors, longer than nations, longer than memory. It is not just a storm. It is time itself, made visible in motion. And you are a small observer, drifting silently above, rocked by the lullaby of a storm that will still be spinning long after you are gone. The Great Red Spot is not alone. Jupiter's atmosphere is a canvas of bands, light and dark stripes encircling the planet. Between these bands, storms form constantly. White ovals, brown barges, temporary vortices, each spinning, colliding, vanishing. Some storms merge, growing larger. Others fade quickly, like whispers in the wind. Yet the dance never stops. Jupiter is a world where storms are the background, not the exception. Imagine an Earth where every sea was storming, every cloud thundering, every horizon alive with tempests. That is Jupiter, a planet where calm is the rarest thing. Pause, breathe deeply. Let the rhythm of your breath match the slow, turning rhythm of Jupiter's storms. Inhale. A band of white clouds swirls around the planet. Exhale. A crimson storm spins endlessly. Inhale. Lightning crackles deep in clouds larger than continents. Exhale. Silence, as you float in the void above it all. Storms may rage, but here, from afar, they become lullabies. Now let us drift outward, across the cold gulf of space. Past Jupiter, past its moons, past its vast magnetic veil. Ahead, Saturn emerges golden, distant, crowned in rings of ice. Saturn, the Lord of Rings. Planet softer in hue than Jupiter, more delicate in appearance. Cream and gold, pale and subtle. And yet, beneath this gentle mask, Saturn too is restless. Its atmosphere is alive with storms. Its winds are the fastest of any planet, over 1,100 miles per hour, faster than sound. And its storms are among the strangest, most beautiful, most mysterious in the solar system. At Saturn's North Pole spins something no other planet has, a storm shaped like a hexagon. Picture that. Clouds, moving in endless circles, arranging themselves not into spirals, but into a six-sided shape. A perfect geometric figure, carved into atmosphere. The hexagon is massive, wide enough to swallow for Earths across. Its walls are storms. Its corners are winds. Its eyes calm like the center of a hurricane. And yet it has lasted for decades, maybe centuries. Scientists are baffled. Why does it hold this shape? Some say it is a standing wave, like ripples locked into place. Others suggest deeper motions within Saturn's hidden layers, but no one truly knows. From space, it looks unreal. As if Saturn wears a crown not just of rings, but of geometry. Every few decades, Saturn unleashes another wonder, the Great White Storm. These are titanic tempests that erupt in its atmosphere, stretching across the entire planet. They appear suddenly, grow enormous, and then fade over months, leaving scars in Saturn's clouds. Imagine looking down at a storm so large, it circles the entire globe. A storm not of water, but of hydrogen, helium, ammonia, and methane. A storm born of deep, rising heat churning into the pale sky, turning Saturn into a world of rolling, boiling clouds. They are rare, they are unpredictable. But when they come, they remind us that even Saturn, the calm golden giant, hides violence within. Close your eyes again. Picture Saturn's pale clouds, not harsh stripes like Jupiter, but soft blurred shades, like brushstrokes on silk. Within them, winds race faster than sound. Storms twist and vanish. Lightning cracks with power thousands of times stronger than Earth's, above its north pole. The hexagon spins endlessly like a wheel. Elsewhere, clouds swirl in patterns that never rest. And through it all, Saturn's rings arc above like the chords of a harp, silent, frozen, casting shadows on the restless planet below. It is a lullaby written in geometry, painted in storms, played across an endless sky. What do Jupiter and Saturn teach us? They remind us that chaos can be beautiful. That storms, which terrify us on Earth, can become eternal wonders when painted on the canvas of giants. The Great Red Spot is not just a storm, it is a memory of centuries. Saturn's hexagon is not just weather, it is mystery made visible. Their winds, their tempests, their endless dances all remind us that change does not always mean destruction. Sometimes it means endurance. Perhaps the universe itself is like this, storms spinning endlessly, yet giving shape to beauty. Perhaps our own lives are like this, restless, chaotic, never calm, but always part of a larger pattern. Storms are not only endings, they are also lullabies. As we drift away, Jupiter and Saturn recede into the dark. Their storms fade into silence. Their colors blur into distant stars. Yet they remain spinning, swirling, dancing in eternal tempests. They will still be here tomorrow. They will still be here in centuries. Long after we are gone, their storms will still rage, still sing. And perhaps when someone far in the future looks up at them, they too will feel the lullaby of clouds swirling in eternal dance, yet never at rest. Beautiful but hostile dreamscapes. We have wandered through storms, through radiation, through the giant hearts of Jupiter and Saturn. Now let us drift closer, away from their vast clouds, toward the small worlds that circle them, their moons. Do not be deceived. These are not quiet companions. They are not harmless stones. The moons of the outer giants are kingdoms of wonder, yes, but also kingdoms of danger. Each one whispers like a dream, beautiful and strange, but beneath their beauty is a warning. They invite us to look, to imagine, but never to forget they are not made for us. First, let us rest our gaze on Io, the innermost large moon of Jupiter. It is a world of yellow plains, black scars, and smoking mountains. A world so restless, so alive, that it is the most volcanically active place in the solar system. Its surface is painted in sulfur, in orange, red, and toxic yellow. But more than its colors, what defines Io are its eruptions. Dozens of volcanoes, its surface. Some spew lava fountains higher than Mount Everest. Some spill rivers of molten rock that stretch for hundreds of miles. At any given moment, Io is erupting. Its crust never rests. Why? Because Io is pulled like a drumskin. Jupiter's gravity tugs at it constantly. Its fellow moons Europa, Ganymede pull from other angles. The result? Io is squeezed and stretched endlessly. Inside, it heats, it boils, it cracks. And so, the surface burns. Close your eyes. Imagine standing if one dares on Io's plains. The ground trembles beneath your feet. The horizon glows with fountains of fire. Above, Jupiter looms in the sky, huge and striped, filling a third of the heavens. Everywhere there is motion. Every breath carries sulfur. Every shadow glows with lava. That is a dream painted in flame. Beautiful, but hostile. A lullaby of fire that will not let you sleep. Now drift outward. Past Io, past the fiery chaos, to another world. This one is silent, white, glimmering in ice. It is Europa, smooth as glass, cracked with blue veins. Europa is smaller than our moon, but it holds an ocean. Not a sea on the surface, for the surface is ice, frozen hard. But beneath, scientists believe, lies water. Perhaps twice as much as all the oceans of Earth combined. An ocean hidden in darkness, warmed by tides and heat below. Could life swim there? Could strange creatures drift in alien seas? Never seeing the stars, never knowing sunlight perhaps? But Europa too is dangerous. It circles within Jupiter's magnetic field, a region soaked in radiation. If you stood on its surface unprotected, within a single day, you would absorb a deadly dose. Its beauty, the glowing ice, the blue cracks hides an invisible storm of energy. Europa is like a glass lantern filled with light, but surrounded by fire. You may look, but you cannot touch. Close your eyes again. Imagine floating above Europa, like marble. Great cracks streak across it like frozen rivers. Sometimes geysers erupt, plumes of water rising miles into space, spraying into the void. Beneath, the ocean waits, quiet, patient. It may hold secrets. It may hold life. But to reach it, one must endure the radiation above, the crushing ice, the endless cold. Europa sings of wonder, but its song is laced with warning. It is a lullaby of silence, beautiful but dangerous. Now let us drift farther still, leaving Jupiter behind, sailing to Saturn. There, among its moons, is one unlike any other, Titan. Titan is larger than Mercury, wrapped in a thick orange haze. It is the only moon in the solar system with a dense atmosphere, and beneath that haze, rivers flow, lakes rest in basins. Rain falls from clouds, not of water, but of methane. It is a world where the cycle of rivers and lakes mirrors Earth, but with alien chemistry. Here, methane and ethane play the role of water. They flow, they evaporate, they rain down again. Titan is not fiery like not icy and silent like Europa. Titan is a dream of Earth, a mirror, but reversed. Imagine standing there. The sky is dim, golden with haze. A cold wind blows. At your feet a river trickles, flowing into a wide lake. The surface ripples softly, reflecting Saturn's rings above. It looks familiar, so much like home. But reach down, dip your hand, and it is not water. It is liquid methane, so cold it would burn you like fire. The air itself is thick with nitrogen, like Earth's, but far too cold to breathe. At minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, Titan is a world locked in eternal winter. It is familiar, yet untouchable. Close your eyes again. Imagine the sound of methane rain tapping softly against alien seas. The rivers sing quietly, but you cannot drink. The air presses gently, but you cannot breathe. It is beautiful, and yet it pushes you away. Titan is a dream you almost recognize, a reflection of Earth in another mirror. But when you reach out, your hand passes through, and the dream dissolves into cold. Io Europa, Titan, 3 worlds, each stunning, each whispering with beauty, Io with its rivers of fire, Europa with its ocean of secrets, Titan with its lakes of alien rain. Together, they form a triad of dreamscapes. They tempt us. They invite us closer. They show us visions of what worlds can be. But they are not ours. They are not homes. They are dangerous, hostile, unforgiving. And yet in their danger, they are also precious, for they remind us of possibility. What do these moons tell us? That beauty is not always gentle, that wonder is not always safe. Sometimes the most breathtaking things in the universe are the ones that will destroy us if we step too close. But perhaps that is their purpose, to remind us that the universe is vast, that not everything is ours to hold. Some things are meant to be seen, admired, and respected from a distance. Like fire, like ice, like dreams we cannot keep. We drift away, let the images linger. Io, glowing with rivers of lava. Europa, shining with ice and hidden seas. Titan, wrapped in orange mist, where methane rivers sing. They fade into the black of space, small lights orbiting greater giants. But their lullabies remain. Songs of fire, of ice, of methane rain. Songs of beauty, but danger. Songs of dreamscapes, beautiful but not for us. They are reminders that danger and wonder are twins of creation. We have drifted past the fire of Io, the ice of Europa, the golden haze of Titan. We have seen storms rage on Jupiter and winds sing on Saturn. But now we sail farther still. Beyond the giants, beyond their moons, into a place where the sun itself grows faint, where daylight weakens and shadows rule. This is not empty space. It is a borderland, a frontier where ancient fragments drift. This is the edge of the solar system. Just beyond Neptune lies a great ring, not solid, not glowing, but scattered. A vast belt of icy worlds stretching billions of miles around the sun. The Kuiper Belt here. Frozen bodies drift silently, leftovers from the dawn of the solar system. They are time capsules, holding secrets billions of years old. Some are small, icy rocks, no larger than mountains. Others are vast, like Pluto, once called the ninth planet. Pluto drifts here, a small world wrapped in nitrogen ice. With mountains of frozen water and plains that stretch smooth as glass, its atmosphere thin and fragile rises only when it is closest to the sun. Then, as it drifts outward, that atmosphere freezes and falls as snow. Imagine living there if such a thing were possible. The sun, no larger than a bright star in the sky. The ground glittering with frost. Every breath, every heartbeat carried under a sky of eternal twilight. Pluto is lonely, yes, but it is not alone. It belongs to the Kuiper Belt, a family of icy wanderers. The Kuiper Belt is not like the asteroid belt, where rocky pieces cluster near Mars and Jupiter. Here, the fragments are far apart, separated by millions of miles. It is not a crowded field of collisions, but a slow, quiet sea. If you could sail through it, you might go years before seeing another world. But they are here, waiting. Eris Haumea, Makemake, small frozen kingdoms drifting in silence. They are remnants of what never became planets. Ruins of creation. Fragments left at the edge of light, but some of these icy bodies do not stay quietly at the edge. Some are nudged inward. Their paths twist, pulled by gravity, and they fall toward the sun. And when they do, they transform. They become comets. A comet begins as a block of ice and dust, cold, dark, invisible. But as it drifts closer to the sun, the heat awakens it. Its ices vaporize, its dust rises. A halo forms around it, the coma, a glowing sphere of gas. Then the sun pushes, with light and wind, stretching the material into a long, shimmering tail. Sometimes the tail stretches millions of miles, glowing across the night sky. To us, from Earth, they appear like messengers, silent, brilliant, streaking across the heavens. But do not be deceived. They are also dangerous. A comet can be breathtaking. Its beauty stirs poets, dreamers, and astronomers alike. But it can also be deadly. For a comet is not only light, it is stone and ice, hurtling at immense speeds. A large impact could scar a world. It has happened before. Some believe comets brought water to Earth long ago. Others remind us they may also bring destruction. Comets are both givers and takers. They are creation and chaos, wrapped in the same body. They are wonder and danger, united. Far beyond the Kuiper belt, farther than even Pluto can wander, lies a place more mysterious still. The Oort cloud. It is not a belt, not a ring, but a sphere, a vast shell of icy fragments surrounding the solar system like a cosmic halo. It may stretch halfway to the nearest stars. We have never seen it directly. It is too distant, too dark. But its presence is felt in the comets that dive toward the sun, their orbits traced back to this shadowed reservoir. The Oort cloud is a graveyard of beginnings. Here trillions of icy bodies drift, untouched for billions of years. They are frozen relics, locked away at the edge of the sun's domain. But they are not ours. They are not homes. They are dangerous, hostile, unforgiving. And yet in their danger, they are also precious, for they remind us of possibility. What do these moons tell us? That beauty is not always gentle, that wonder is not always safe. Sometimes the most breathtaking things in the universe are the ones that will destroy us if we step too close. But perhaps that is their purpose, to remind us that the universe is vast, that not everything is ours to hold. Some things are meant to be seen, admired, and respected from a distance. Like fire, like ice, like dreams we cannot keep. We drift away, let the images linger. Io, glowing with rivers of lava. Europa, shining with ice and hidden seas. Titan, wrapped in orange mist, where methane rivers sing. They fade into the black of space, small lights orbiting greater giants. But their lullabies remain. Songs of fire, of ice, of methane rain. Songs of beauty, but danger. Songs of dreamscapes, beautiful but not for us. They are reminders that danger and wonder are twins of creation. We have drifted past the fire of Io, the ice of Europa, the golden haze of Titan. We have seen storms rage on Jupiter and winds sing on Saturn. But now we sail farther still. Beyond the giants, beyond their moons, into a place where the sun itself grows faint, where daylight weakens and shadows rule. This is not empty space. It is a borderland, a frontier where ancient fragments drift. This is the edge of the solar system. Just beyond Neptune lies a great ring, not solid, not glowing, but scattered. A vast belt of icy worlds stretching billions of miles around the sun. The Kuiper belt here. Frozen bodies drift silently, leftovers from the dawn of the solar system. They are time capsules, holding secrets billions of years old. Some are small, icy rocks, no larger than mountains. Others are vast, like Pluto, once called the ninth planet. Pluto drifts here, a small world wrapped in nitrogen ice, with mountains of frozen water and plains that stretch smooth as glass. Its atmosphere, thin and fragile, rises only when it is closest to the sun. Then, as it drifts outward, that atmosphere freezes and falls as snow. Imagine living there if such a thing were possible. The sun, no larger than a bright star in the sky. The ground glittering with frost. Every breath, every heartbeat carried under a sky of eternal twilight. Pluto is lonely, yes, but it is not alone. It belongs to the Kuiper belt, a family of icy wanderers. The Kuiper belt is not like the asteroid belt, where rocky pieces cluster near Mars and Jupiter. Here, the fragments are far apart, separated by millions of miles. It is not a crowded field of collisions, but a slow, quiet sea. If you could sail through it, you might go years before seeing another world. But they are here, waiting. Eris Haumea, Makemake, small frozen kingdoms drifting in silence. They are remnants of what never became planets. Ruins of creation. Fragments left at the edge of light, but some of these icy bodies do not stay quietly at the edge. Some are nudged inward. Their paths twist, pulled by gravity, and they fall toward the sun. And when they do, they transform. They become comets. A comet begins as a block of ice and dust, cold, dark, invisible. But as it drifts closer to the sun, the heat awakens it. Its ices vaporize, its dust rises. A halo forms around it, the coma, a glowing sphere of gas. Then the sun pushes, with light and wind, stretching the material into a long, shimmering tail. Sometimes the tail stretches millions of miles, glowing across the night sky. To us, from Earth, they appear like messengers, silent, brilliant, streaking across the heavens. But do not be deceived. They are also dangerous. A comet can be breathtaking, Its beauty stirs poets, dreamers, and astronomers alike, but it can also be deadly. For a comet is not only light, it is stone and ice, hurtling at immense speeds. A large impact could scar a world. It has happened before. Some believe comets brought water to Earth long ago. Others remind us they may also bring destruction. Comets are both givers and takers. They are creation and chaos, wrapped in the same body. They are wonder and danger, united. Far beyond the Kuiper belt, farther than even Pluto can wander, lies a place more mysterious still. The Oort cloud. It is not a belt, not a ring, but a sphere, a vast shell of icy fragments surrounding the solar system like a cosmic halo. It may stretch halfway to the nearest stars. We have never seen it directly. It is too distant, too dark. But its presence is felt in the comets that dive toward the sun, their orbits traced back to this shadowed reservoir. The Oort cloud is a graveyard of beginnings. Here trillions of icy bodies drift, untouched for billions of years. They are frozen relics, locked away at the edge of the sun's domain. They are time travelers, waiting. Some will never move. Some will fall inward, after millions of years of silence. When they do, they appear to us as new comets, sudden visitors, bright in the night sky. The Oort cloud is like a vault, holding both beauty and risk. It is the solar system's memory and its silent warning. So what does this edge teach us? That creation and destruction are not separate. That beauty and danger are not enemies. They are twins. The Kuiper belt holds frozen wonders, but also the seeds of collisions. Comets paint the sky with light, but can also end worlds. The Oort cloud guards history, but also releases chaos. They remind us. The universe is not only gentle, it is not only cruel. It is both. And perhaps that is the deeper lesson. That the same forces that bring us oceans, life, and beauty also carry the power of endings. We live always in the balance between. Now drift outward with me one last time. The sun is dim behind us. Its warmth is only a whisper. As the stars grow brighter, sharper, clearer. The Kuiper belt lies like a faint mist. Comets sleep in silence, waiting to awaken. And farther still, the Oort cloud wraps us in shadow, a boundary of icy ghosts. This is the edge of the solar system, where time stands still, where creation sleeps, a place of beauty, a place of danger. And so we leave it, floating gently, carrying the memory, that wonder and danger are not apart but entwined. That every fragment of ice, every drifting rock, is both a gift and a warning. And that beyond this edge, the stars themselves await. Tonight we have drifted far. From the quiet veil of space, where silence itself holds danger, to the blazing tantrums of our sun, to Mercury's cracked stones and Venus's golden furnace, to the drifting ruins of the asteroid belt, and the invisible fortress of Jupiter's radiation, we wandered through storms that raged for centuries, stood beside moons of ice and fire, and touched the edge of the solar system, where frozen wanderers glide in eternal darkness. And yet, through every place from fire to frost, from pressure to emptiness, from silence to storm, there has been beauty, beauty not in comfort, but in the reminder that existence itself is fragile and still astonishingly alive. Take a slow, gentle breath. Let it rise and fall like the tides of Saturn's winds. Allow yourself to rest in the thought. The universe is vast, and though peril lies hidden in its every corner, so does wonder. The most dangerous places in our solar system are not meant to frighten us. They are stories written in stone and storm, chapters of creation that whisper, "This is how worlds are born. This is how they endure. This is how they end." And as you drift deeper into rest, remember, danger and wonder are not enemies. They are companions, walking hand in hand through the cosmos. Every storm births calm, every silence births a song, and every peril carries the memory of creation itself. The sun, our cradle and our fire, holds us in its light. The planets, though hostile, remind us of resilience. The comets and asteroids, though capable of destruction, are time capsules of the dawn of everything we know. So as your eyes grow heavy, know this. You are safe here, on the small blue world that floats in balance. Protected not by strength, but by chance, by distance, by the quiet care of cosmic design. And when sleep finally takes you, let it feel like a voyage. Through dark seas of space, where each star glimmers like a lighthouse, where each shadow hides a lesson, and where even danger is softened into the lullaby of eternity. As you rest, remember the universe is vast. It is dangerous, it is beautiful, and it keeps both danger and wonder in its care. Good night, traveler, the stars are watching. Sleep now, and drift gently into their embrace.